This is a very different
It
thing.
is. It is. I hadn't done something like this before. I'd wanted to do this for a very, very, very long time, and my editors kept sending me off to Sarajevo or Kabul, Kandahar, wherever there was trouble, and that's where I've been doing my journalism. But I've wanted to do this book. I've been working on it for 10 years, but I've wanted to do it since I was old enough to write.
Charlotte Taylor is, now see if I can remember this, your great, 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 great grandmother.
No, 3 greats.
3 greats. You're not the only one by a long shot. Lots of descendants of Charlotte Taylor.
There are thousands of descendants. You know, I thought we should be looking at the chronicles of women in those very early days, because there's almost nothing about women.
Do you remember when you first heard about, and what did they call her in the family? Was she Grandma Charlotte? Was
No,
she?
everybody calls her Charlotte Taylor. Now, I've heard my uncles refer to her as sly old Charlotte. I've heard other people refer to her in words that are akin to her being an alley cat. She had 3 husbands. But, no, everybody calls her Charlotte Taylor. They don't call her Charlotte Blake or Charlotte Wishart or Charlotte Hurlahai, which are also her last names. They refer to her as that sly old Charlotte or Charlotte Taylor.
I keep looking to see if Fabio's going to be on the cover, because it kind of has a bodice ripper kind of side to it.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, well, just give me a quick précis of her life.
Well, you're right. She ran away with her lover. She went on to have 3 husbands. I believe she had a relationship with an Aboriginal man for most of her life. But this woman was a pioneer. This woman was a fighter. She struggled not only with the elements, she struggled with the mores of the day. She took them all on. All comers. Charlotte Taylor took them on.
What's the first piece of evidence of her life that you can actually document?
Probably her marriage to John Blake when they moved to the Miramichi. Certainly their letters in the archives demanding that the land be granted to them. Remember, when they went there, all of the land east of Quebec was known as Nova Scotia, except for the very tiny Ile Saint-Jean, which was changed to Prince Edward Island in 1799. So all of it was known as Nova Scotia. And then it got complicated, because once New Brunswick became a province, if you'd established a deed with Nova Scotia, you had to have that transferred to New Brunswick. And of course, right after that, her husband John Blake died, and that led to her famous, perhaps infamous, trek to Fredericton to claim her man's land. She wanted that land pretty badly. If she would do that, she realized she couldn't depend on anybody else to get that land for her. I think that single trek fleshes out her character a great deal. What an incredible journey it must have been. 200 miles plus by snowshoe in the winter. So if I couldn't find it, I didn't make it up out of whole cloth. I would go to the research that was available around that period, and I would presume how that affected Charlotte. So I tried to keep a great deal of it is straight out of the archives, but there's fiction too, so the genre is fiction.
Frankly, there were times where I'm going, oh, come on, just a second, Sally. Could she really have been? And then I hit something and it was like, well, obviously there's a document about that she's used, so maybe it's
well,
not
you know,
so
some of the pieces of the book that seem to be the most fictitious are in fact straight out of the archives. There's a terrible battle in the Miramichi between the Mi'kmaq and the British military. And as I was researching it and writing it, I thought people are going to think this is fiction, where one particular Mi'kmaq man, they think he's dead 3 different times, and he comes back up again fighting, straight out of the archives.
It's the 9 lives of Charlotte Taylor. Why 9? Is that just the whole cat thing? Or, because I never thought of her as a terribly cat-like person.
Well, she was nimble, that's for sure. And it was that nimble kind of feline way. She always seemed to land on her feet. That was part of my imagining of Charlotte Taylor. And as for 9 lives, you're right, the cat thing came to mind. But, I mean, she lived one life in England. We don't know anything about that, but from the bit of letter that I have, she clearly lived an upper crust life in England. The voyage itself to the West Indies, how she survived that is something to ask. Then there's the very brief time, but enormously painful time she spent in the West Indies, and then she finally gets to what was called British North America at the time. And remember, Canada was 92 years short of its official birthday when this woman was tracking around the land trying to tame it. And the things that happened to her just kept making me think, you've got 9 lives, girl. You just keep surviving this stuff. I mean, what happened with her husbands, what happened with her sons, what happened with the elements. I thought she had 9 lives.
I get to the end of it and I go, oh, what a great fictional character. And then I went, oh my God, she's real.
She's
I mean, that's
real.
And
What a dame.
if this were any other country in the world, she would be famous. Other than Laura Secord, who really only survives because of the chocolates, let's face it. We're not so good with creating heroes of any kind, much less heroes with breasts.
Well, maybe now's the time to start.
I
I
like
agree
it.
with you. When I did the search, there was almost nothing about women from that era. And I knew this story, and thousands of others know this story. With 10 children, she's got a lot of descendants. And maybe this is a start.
The book is The 9 Lives of Charlotte Taylor, the first woman settler on the Miramichi. I've been speaking with the author, Sally Armstrong, and The 9 Lives of Charlotte Taylor, published by Random House of Canada.